Is it safe to exercise in the heat? What's happening? This is Isai Rodriguez, host of the Dasmination podcast, where I cater to the professional working man 40 and above who's looking to make positive changes to his health, lose weight, and become stronger overall through simple lifestyle changes. I'm here to share inspiration, tips, and proven lessons that I've personally learned and lived through in my 40 plus years on this here beautiful blue planet. So today we'll be answering the question, is it safe to exercise in the heat? And listen, your health and fitness goals are easier to achieve than you might think. First and foremost, it's all about getting your mind straight right from the get-go. And so I've got a freebie for you called the 10 Dasmination Mind Hacks that'll help you whip your mind into shape so that you can turn around and whip your body into shape. If that sounds good to you, then head on over to podcast.dasmination.com/mindhacks to get your freebie today and start using these 10 hacks to exercise consistently and create the real and lasting results that you're truly after and that you absolutely deserve. That's podcast.dasmination.com/mindhacks. Again, that's podcast.dasmination.com/mindhacks. Be in the know starting right now. And so, with all that being said, let's get right into the show. All right. How is everybody out there? How are you doing? How is it going for you? I hope you guys are feeling blessed. I hope your family is blessed as well. I hope everything is going great in your neck of the woods. And I hope everything's good. Let's get right into the meat and potatoes. So this week we're talking about, we're going to answer the question, is it safe to exercise in the heat? And now, we're still in the summer months here in the northern hemisphere of the globe. We have another month of actual summer, and then depending on where where on the globe or which latitude of this blue marble you call home, then you may have an extra month or two of just straight heat. Like summer, quote unquote, the summer months may be over, like they may be done, and we'd be heading into the fall weather. But come on, man. There's how many Septembers have we had with with temperatures up in the 90s? That's still pretty damn hot. So anyway, there's no shortage of that being said, there's no shortage of weight loss claims in the fitness industry, or throughout the ecosystem, let's call it, as a whole. And one of the more popular claims is the one where they say to exercise in the heat. They say the train of thought is, like, the train of thought of this is that by doing so, by training in the heat, it is believed that you'll burn more calories. That's the train of thought, and it kind of makes sense. If you're in the heat, you're going to be working up more of a sweat, so you would think, you're going to burn more calories. And now, this doesn't only mean training outside in the sun, although, I suppose it could, but it's not limited to just that, You find suggestions from exercising on hot, sunny afternoons, all the way to wearing garbage bags, to promote sweat and fat loss. And there's a lot of people who have tried all of these different tactics, and they more or less swear by this method of, to lose weight quickly, like these different ways of training or working out, exercising in the heat, But have you ever wondered if you could actually burn more calories exercising in the heat? Like, has that thought ever crossed your mind? And more than that, if it's even safe to do that, like, has that ever crossed your mind? Technically speaking, like I just said, like, you do burn more calories in the heat, but it comes with a huge caveat. There's a huge, like a serious gotcha, like a, I gotcha, if you will. And, so during exercise, your body temperature goes up. No surprise, right? That's the point. This is to support the increased physical demands on your body. So you're running or you're, working out, you're lifting weights, and these physical demands cause your body temperature to go up, right? And so to prevent your body from overheating, it has like this tightly controlled internal heat regulation system, for a lack of better terms. The system basically causes your body to sweat and dissipate heat into the air. It's a super advanced cooling system, you know what I mean? If you're exercising in the heat, then your body basically needs to work even harder to cool itself down. Have you ever noticed in the summer when you're driving with your AC on, and have you ever noticed that like the car doesn't have quite the same punch? You know what I mean? It's the same thing with your body. Your body's trying to cool itself down, but in order to do so in the heat while you're exercising, you're adding that extra physical activity onto your body, along with just the everyday breathing and all that other stuff. So it has to work double duty, basically. When you're exercising in the heat, your body works harder, it requires more calories. So again, you technically burn more calories because of your system working overtime, but there's a drawback with that whole overtime thing. You might see some quick weight loss, no surprise there, but it's not necessarily the good kind, quote unquote. Not like it's not the good kind of weight loss. This quick weight loss comes primarily from the loss of water in your body. So it's mostly water weight that you're losing when you're working out in the heat. Now, you can argue that, you should be dehydrating your body to an extent to rid your body from that excess water weight. But so that being said, even though you can burn a few more calories in the heat, you're probably better off doing exercise you like to do and that you can sustain for a long term. Here's another point that you might want to keep in mind is that when you exercise in the heat, you increase your chances of dehydration. And I'm not talking about, purposefully dehydrating your body so that you can shred up, basically, like when you're trying to shed off as much fat and as much weight. I'm talking about just regular day-to-day hydration. Your body is set like 60 to 70% water. So if you're dehydrating yourself, you're going to shut down. Your body's going to shut down. So we're talking about, increasing your chances of dehydration, heat exhaustion, and even heat stroke when you exercise in the heat. And while we're talking about all this, some of the signs of heat exhaustion are things like excessive sweating, kind of self-explanatory, clammy skin, weakness, dizziness, headache. So if you experience, and if you're working out in the heat, in the sun, with whatever scenario that it is that you've decided to work in the heat, and you start experiencing any of these systems, then the first thing that you need to do is stop exercising. Pretty straightforward, you know what I mean? If you're exercising in the heat and you start feeling dizziness, excessive sweating, clammy skin, weakness, headache, stop exercising ASAP right where you are. Then move to a cooler location and make sure to drink plenty of fluids. If you don't treat these symptoms, if you don't stop exercising, like if you don't move to that cool place, if you don't start drinking some electrolytes or Gatorade or at minimum some water, then you're playing with the possibility of heat stroke. This is not a good place to be. Let me tell you that. This is not a good place to be. You'll have a body temperature of 104 degrees Fahrenheit or higher. You might have dry skin and disorientation. In some rare cases, you may even have a seizure. This is no joke, my friends. This is not something to play around with. You know what I mean? Heat stroke is a serious medical emergency. You'll need immediate medical attention. You may even need to call 911 if you're alone, that's how serious it is. So like don't play around with that. If you decide to work out in the heat with a bag on in the sun, whatever, and you start experiencing this and you're alone, let me tell you, this is not a joke. Have your phone with you because you may need to call 911 before you black out and end up on the concrete or wherever you are. And now this is not to say, I'm not gonna preach all doom and gloom here. You know what I mean? So like, this is not to say that you can't ever exercise in the heat, because in general, it's safe. If you take the right precautions, it's safe. It's all right. Always stay hydrated and pay attention to your local heat index warnings, and absolutely pay attention to any signs and symptoms of heat-related conditions that your body is telling you. It's being aware of yourself, your body, where you are, what are the conditions that you're in. It's being mentally aware of what you are doing. You can't be like just, haphazardly just exercising with no direction, no thought, no, none of that, because it's not going to turn out good for you. But that being said, since exercising in the heat causes you to sweat even more than normal, obviously, it's absolutely critical to stay hydrated before, during, and after exercising in the heat. So if you still decide to take your workout into the heat or bringing the heat into your workout, you know what I mean? Then let's keep a few things in mind. Some tips, if you will. So first, wear light, breathable fabrics, light, breathable clothing, shirts and shorts or things like that are, that don't soak up the moisture, that when you sweat, it dries up pretty much immediately. It doesn't hold on to the sweat. I think this is pretty self-explanatory, but if it's not, wear quick drying type of exercise shorts and shirts. The 100% cotton stuff, it soaks up the sweat, and more importantly, it holds on to the sweat and doesn't really allow your skin to breathe, you know what I mean, when it's all soaked in sweat. So, as we mentioned earlier, stay hydrated with water, a sports beverage, a Gatorade, or better yet, an electrolyte-infused drink. When you sweat a lot, then what your body really needs are electrolytes. So drinking like an infused water, or one of those special waters that has some type of electrolytes infused into the water, or any other type of an electrolyte drink like Gatorade or something like that, will work best. Like that's what your body needs. You know what I mean? So look at your local heat index report. Avoid going out if it's advised not to. Like, pay attention to that. Again, this is serious stuff. And again, in general, it's safe to work out in the heat or with heat in your workout, but you have to be aware of what you're doing. You have to be aware of your surroundings. You have to be aware of your body. You know what I mean? Like, how are you feeling? What is it telling you? Is it telling you to slow down? Then slow down. Is it telling you to stop? Then stop. You know what I mean? If you notice any symptoms whatsoever of heat exhaustion or heat stroke, then simply stop. Stop what you're doing, move to a cool spot, and hydrate yourself ASAP. If you can, wear a hat. So if you're outside, literally, and you can, wear a hat, some sunglasses, and use sunscreen. I think this is kind of self-explanatory, preferably a sunscreen with SPF 30 or higher. Another tip I have for you is to exercise in the early morning or late evening. At these times, the temperature is generally a lot cooler, so you'll be cutting your risk of all these conditions that we're talking about. You're going to cut it down by a huge margin, by a lot, you know what I mean? And by preparing in advance, you can reduce your risk of dehydration and other heat-related conditions. But take the weather advisories seriously. Again, pay attention to what they're telling you. If they're saying it's way too hot, you should not be outdoors, then guess what? Don't be working out outdoors. You know what I mean? It's some of these things are kind of common sense, but for whatever reason, they go over our heads sometimes, you know? It's in your best interest to take that advice. They're telling you not to go out. And and here's the best part of it is that advice is free, you know? It's funny how people complain about how there's nothing truly free in life these days, yet when someone like something like this comes around and you get some free advice, you know, those same people that are complaining are the same people not taking the free advice. All of a sudden, they're offended. But that's another story for another episode, you know? So we're not going to go into that. But listen, here's the bottom line with all of this. Exercising in the heat can add a challenge to your workout routine. For sure. No doubt. There's no question about it. You know what I mean? It can, and it does. And even though, many people believe it also helps them to burn more calories, the effects of them burning those calories are minimal. Like, yes, on a technical scale, you do burn more calories, but it's really not like, okay, so instead of burning 100 calories, let's say, a number that's easy to visualize, instead of burning 100, you would burn 105. Not all that huge of a difference to put yourself, your body, your life almost in that type of risk. You know what I mean? It's not that big of an effect. You know, it's minimal. Now that being said, if you still decide to exercise in the heat, again, there are important safety concerns that you'll need to consider. There's things that you want to keep in mind. So as the temperature and humidity increase, so do your risks of heat illness. And more importantly, dehydration, because that's the one that's going to get you. So you're going to get the dehydration first before you get to the heat-related illnesses. So that's why we say that in general, working out in the heat is okay, because if you maintain hydration in your body, then a lot of the other symptoms or conditions, you're going to subvert that. You're going to make your way around it if you stay hydrated. That's the key right there. And we mentioned, you're looking for something with electrolytes, like an electrolyte infused drink, a Gatorade, an actual, if you don't have something with electrolytes, if you need a product, I have one for you, but I'm not going to drop it right now. But reach out to me and I'll get that info to you. But that's your best bet. And aside from that, wear light and breathable clothes that'll help the sweat dissipate, basically, to clear out, to dry up, and always check the heat index report before exercising outdoors. If you're new to exercising in the heat, start slowly at a lower pace, at lower intensities, lower than you normally would, because you want to build that up. You want to build up to actually working out hard in the heat, And while you may burn a few extra calories exercising in the heat, only do so if you really like doing it, and only if you can safely tolerate it, if it's safe for your body, for you in particular. Otherwise, exercising in cooler environments like a gym or at your home is going to be just as effective for your weight loss, for your goals, for you, to reach that milestone that you're after. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind and you'll be okay. And so, with all that said and done, that's it, you guys. That's my show for today. I hope you found some valuable information here. And if nothing else, I hope I've entertained you for a few minutes and was able to bring you a little manly sunshine to your day. Thanks for taking some time out of your day to listen to me. It's very much appreciated. On next week's episode, we'll be answering the question, how to exercise your way to a healthy blood pressure. So, fellas, if you're looking to ditch that BP medication naturally, next week's episode is for you. And look, your health and fitness goals are easier to achieve than you might think. First and foremost, it's all about getting your mind straight right from the get-go. And so I got a freebie for you called the 10 Dasplanation Mind Hacks that'll help you whip your mind into shape so that you can turn around and whip your body into shape. If that sounds good to you, then head on over to podcast.dasplanation.com/mindhacks to get your freebie today and start using these 10 hacks to exercise consistently and create the real lasting results that you're truly after and that you absolutely deserve. That's podcast.dasplanation.com/mindhacks. Again, that's podcast.dasplanation.com/mindhacks. Be in the know starting right now. Till our next chat, take care now. Bye.